Hello. I would like to start again by congratulating Ron Hainsey on his 1000th game, and obviously 5 years in the minors and then 15 years in the NHL. We all get in a big hurry to get there. The idea is to get there when you're ready and play as long as you can, and Ron's a great example to all our young guys who are dying for an opportunity.
Why do you think Justin Hall's ready tonight?
Well, this is what we did. It was right at training camp. Right at training camp, I told Halsey that I didn't have an opportunity for him right away, because we were looking at the other people. Went right to him, let him know he had spent, I don't know, about 100 years in the minors already. He's a real good person, and so we said we'd get to his opportunity. We had a chance, now he gets an opportunity. So he's known all along. It's not like we hid from him at all. We were right up front and let him know what was going on. And now here's an opportunity. We're giving Nosey a night off. I'm going to give him a night off every once in a while here. Just because the season is so much longer than it was where he's been, and we think it's time to get Dermy back in. Dermy was sick, but he also needed to do some work. He's done his work. Dermy's a guy who can move the puck. He can help us.
How does your five-man group tighten up in the D zone to make life easier on the defenseman to make that outlet pass and get things going?
Well, I mean, last game, you know, it was interesting. We spent a lot of time on last game just looking at it, and they did to us what we normally do to other teams that are above us and made us work real hard, and we didn't execute, and they did, and they were better. And in the end, that's the worst this year that we've been outplayed by any team. By a wide margin, just because we gave up so many quality opportunities. Their fourth and fifth guy beat our fourth and fifth guy up the ice all night long, so we weren't very good. You know, I think kind of like the St. Louis game, and I'm not taking anything away from Calgary or St. Louis, but we didn't do our part to make it a competitive game. In the end, those games, the Calgary game was 2-1, it was tight and all that, but the team that should have won.
What's your ideal workload for Frederik Andersen this season?
That's a great question. No, like, I got to win today. So that's a great fantasy thing in the summer. So what do? Do I win today, or you know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. How's that? The better our team plays, the less he has to play. How's that?
At the beginning of Hainsey's career,
who am I talking to? Okay.
He had a way that he wanted to play that didn't work. And coaches took him in and said, if you want to play in the league, this is how you're going to have to play. How often do you have to do that with, maybe even more so with a young defenseman than a forward, but it's sort of telling someone you can't play the way you want to play or you're not going to have a career? Well,
probably when Ron heard that was when he was ready to hear that. Probably the first 4 or 5 guys that took a whack at that, no chance. So you come out of major junior hockey, you've been a star, you arrive here and you see that, I don't know who's 1 and who's 2, but you see Matthews, you see Tavares, you see Kadri. Now what are you going to do? Well, you better figure out a way to reinvent yourself, but I think it's the same for all of us. You're right, and you got a job, suddenly they don't want you anymore. You got to reinvent yourself and find a way to get another job. So I think that's what I started with, and the point I was trying to make. There's a ton of young guys that think they should step right in the league. No problem, that's what exhibition's for. We just watch you. If you do it, great. But if you don't do it over a period of time, someone else does it. And so you have to find a way to create value for yourself. So do you win face-offs? Do you penalty kill? Do you forecheck? Do you shot block? Like, what do you hang your hat on? But you got to have something to hang your hat on. And otherwise the league you don't get to hang out in the league very long.
Could you do that with Morgan to an extent, not reinvent yourself much, but do these things defensively that maybe you didn't have to?
Well, I don't know if you remember, Morgan didn't play on the power play my first year here. And that was just, not that we didn't think he was a power play guy, just that this is what we're doing. If we want to get any good, you got to learn how to play. So the thing about Morgan, though, I mean, he's an elite player who, but like all elite players, you still got, the National Hockey League's hard. 82 nights in a row, it's hard. So, and then the playoffs start, and then the tournament starts. And if you want to spend, 4 rounds doing that, you got to be really good. So the process we're in, I think, is a great process. We got to continue to get better every day. And some of our young people that we think are going to play aren't. And some of the ones we think aren't going to play, they're going to play.
Mike, when Austin was out last year, Mitch, I believe, led the team scoring those games. Have you noticed that he's a guy that kind of embraces the moment when his team...
Well, what I find with most injuries, what happens is it takes your team a little bit to figure out how we're going to go again. It takes the coach a little bit to figure it out. But to have success, you got to trust all your guys. And we got to, even though your depth gets hurt a little bit, you got to play with depth. And a guy like Mitch, we need Mitch to be important. But when you look at our lineup, we need everyone to be important. And I just talked about, you got to find a role, you got to find a way, you got to find a way to contribute and make yourself successful. And the other thing is, racing to 10 right now probably is not a good idea.
What's the biggest challenge that Dallas presents?
Well, they got good players. Real good on both specialty teams, real good in the face-off circle. Do we want to have the puck? Let's have a plan in the face-off circle. Discipline, stay out of the box. And then I think they're playing well. Our game in there, we played real fast and got a jump on them. I saw them play the other night. I thought Montreal was good early, but they took over the game. Obviously, they're a good team. And I think when you look at these teams every night in the league, and maybe you don't see it that way, every night you're going, oh, was that other team ever good? That's what you say to yourself every night when you're there. It's not like it was 10 years ago. You knew you had a Wednesday night game that you're just going to win. It isn't like that. You got to get prepared and get ready to play.